Hey, only me. The little one for today. Some people have said to me, oh, you're going to run out of ideas on what to do, what topics, because Faversham is so small. It's a small town, but doesn't mean its history is. So yeah, so I'm going to show you some places where you can find out information, and we're going to start here at the Fleur bookshop. Lots of second-hand books in there. I've got loads of everything, but got lots of Faversham in there as well. And yeah, give it a visit. There's some cheap books. This is a place to go. Open 10 till 3:30, Monday to Saturday. Look. Sunday when antique fair on, 11 till 1. Sunday no antique fair obviously is closed. So, right, and then the next right next door is the Fleur de Lis Museum. Loads of interesting things to see in here. And this museum is free entry, 11 till 3. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, market Sundays. All the extra days.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, I know today's Wednesday, but I didn't realise it was. I thought it was because of the holiday.
Well, we're starting for the summer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, summer already, nearly. Okay, right, let's have a look round. Good afternoon.
Did you need a little map or anything?
No, you're okay.
You're okay? Okay.
Thank you. Right, I'm not going to show you everywhere because there's no point of me telling you, you to come in, so you're going to get a fast forward. Enjoy the music. Perhaps I'll stop here. J. Luckhurst hairdresser, hair cutting, shaving and shampoo. Think I need a haircut? Oh, it's shut.
Yeah, it's a mock-up of where his shop was in West Street, Luckhurst's. And when he passed away, his family donated all his stuff, so
Yeah.
we made this mock-up of his shop.
Oh, I was hoping for an haircut. I was going to ring the bell and all. Is that a bell? Oh, no, it ain't a bell, is it? That's some sort of
Yes,
urn.
he was still using all this stuff when he passed away.
Oh. Okay, our next place, which is the Visitor Information Centre, the Faversham Society. The same type as Fleur de Lis. Let's go in. Hello.
Hello.
I'm just browsing.
Yes, you all right? Yeah.
I'm doing a bit of filming. The people know before who was on duty earlier. They've obviously gone home at 1, haven't they? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. Yeah, we change things to at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
we
cool.
had afternoon tea.
Yeah. Oh. Well. I won't be marking you or nothing. Is it your phone? No,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Sorry. Right, here we go. Look, they're saying about the boots.
Good afternoon, Faversham.
This is the new
Can
books.
I help you?
So old books in the
What
Fleur
is a
shop,
toy store?
Fleur bookshop.
I don't think I got that sort of information. You're talking about what? You're talking about
All
Rochester?
sorts of it. Oh look.
Yeah.
See, so when you come
Faversham.
down to it, there's loads of information, loads of topics
Yeah.
rather.
I can't help you on that.
There's that one.
We're Faversham Tourist Information Centre. Oh,
These are the pamphlets we've got loads of.
I could tell you all about it.
They all, I think they vary in price. So yeah, you get loads. Like me, loads.
No,
All that lot.
we don't have that.
There.
Okay, welcome.
Other loads of things, Faversham streets, buildings, gunpowder, wartime, windmills, auction pubs. So if you haven't got a calendar for 2024, never too late. Mark down all the events that are going on in town. Right, recently I found another interesting one, and I think that's outside. No, there's leaflets here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I know, amount of times I've been here, I still do it. Right, I went on this Monday, lovely lady Catherine, you'll see in the video following this. Walking with History guided town walks. Dates here. I'll actually read them out because I don't know whether they're coming out. Right, Saturdays 10:30 AM from 6th of April to the 26th of October. Bank holiday Mondays 10:30 AM. Summer evening strolls. Oh, look at that, 6:30 PM. But that's limited by the looks of it. On the Wednesdays the 5th and 19th of June, Tuesday the 25th, Wednesday the 10th of July, Wednesday the 24th of July, and Tuesday the 6th of August. So I think it costs £5. You want to see that somewhere. It's not on here, but should be really, but I'll let you know in advance. It's £5. I went on one Monday, there's over 20 odd people there, and you'll see in the video. And yeah, there's another thing, a vault of information. Yeah, a vault. Me lost for words, I use vault. I haven't used that word for ages. I'll tell you some interesting things about there, the Guildhall. I don't know what they're all on, whether they're different places, but we'll see. But that's where you get all that from, the town hall, or the visitor information centre, because there's actually two different organisations, shall we say. Right, that's me. I hope you enjoyed that. Enjoyed the video that's following. Thank you for Catherine for letting me film bits of it. I didn't film it all because, as you know, I don't like to show it all, because the fact that I have to usually get out and have a look. But you know, or get an interest, I'll just cover little bits like the gunpowder explosion you've just seen over Utley's. And yeah, get people interested, get Faversham known. Not that it ain't known, but get it known more. And right, sorry about that, got a bit noisy around there, so turned it off. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Lots of information from all them different places. And yeah, so I think I should be going for a little while, and we'll start out of town, shall we? Or shall I add out of town as well? I don't know, all depends on time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.
Okay, that's brilliant. most of what I'm going to be talking about this morning is not living memory history, so I suspect that any of you who are born and bred in Faversham will probably know more about that aspect of its history than I do, so I'm perfectly happy to be corrected, but most of what we're going to be talking about is much, much longer ago. We're going to be walking for about an hour and a half. We'll set off from here, we'll go up Preston Street, just to have a look at a couple of our sites there, then back to here, and circuit through down to Arden's house and back up. If you do need to leave us sooner than the hour's half, obviously that's absolutely fine. Just let me know so that I know that we haven't lost you and spending time looking for you. So just a little bit of preamble before we start. Just a few things that I want to just give you some background, particularly about this. Faversham's history goes back to Neolithic times, so I'm not going to be talking about any of that, I'm not qualified. We probably start in terms of written records about the year 800, and the King of Mercia, King Cornwall, called this town the King's Little Town, and again it was mentioned as belonging to the King in Domesday Book. So the King was the Lord of the Manor in the 1000s. So the connection with royalty goes way, way back. As reflected in our town crest, which you'll see on some of the buildings as we go around, and on the town bollards. So we've got 3 golden lions. I'll say more about that when we get round the corner. So just in terms of some of the themes of the walk, we're going to be looking mainly at buildings and looking at the clues in the buildings and what they tell us about past times, past fashions. And I'm going to be connecting our local history with broader national history, because that's what's really interesting. So that when we come talk about, for example, James II's unscheduled visit, think in terms of what the context was and what was going on around that time. I think that's just about it. So we're quite a large group, so we can, and luckily it's a bank holiday, so I don't imagine we're going to have much traffic, but just be wary of pavements. We're just going to do a little bit of a walk up to Preston Street, and our first stop is the Alexander Centre.
Should we keep kids here then? You leave them here.
That's the friendly one. Yeah, we'll start there. With other dogs? We have a black one. She had grades. These two watch. Yeah. Really?
That attitude. He liked you, you would like, he didn't. And unfortunately, he didn't like my mother-in-law. Oh, really? So whenever she came round, he guarded the pram and was very difficult.
Really? And was the dog a good show?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, there we are.
Love the kids.
Yeah. We had one which, the same one, I think. We had someone come around potentially to be dog carer. Just didn't want her in the house. And that was it. We thought, well, it's in one of the houses, no point in trying.
No, no point. When I came to the Alexander Centre,
So this beautiful house was built in the 1860s for a gentleman called Henry Barnes, who was one of the brick merchant or barons around here, lots and lots of brick companies. So the other theme that I'm going to talk about throughout the walk is what we talk about, the 4 Bs of Faversham's economy through past times. So I've just mentioned bricks. We're going to say more about that later. The other one, of course, is boats. And we must never forget that Faversham's past really centred on the fact that it was a port, definitely the port of Faversham rather than the town of Faversham. And in the Middle Ages, actually, it was the foremost trading port in the whole county of Kent. So all the agricultural produce from the surrounding areas went out through Faversham. Coal and timber came in from Europe through into Faversham. So we've had bricks, we've had boats. The third one is black powder, commonly known black powder, which is gunpowder. Faversham claims to be the cradle of Britain's gunpowder industry, and that's going to also crop up throughout lots of the things that we're going to talk about. And the fourth one, I'm sure as you can guess, being a brewing town of beer, we're not going to be getting very far without mentioning beer and pubs. Back to Henry Barnes in the 1860s, he made a fortune through manufacturing bricks. We had this lovely house built, mid-Victorian period, and yet we've got this very classical portico here. More recently, this building, which is now an events venue, but up until quite recently, it also spent some time in the town hall, hence town crest over the top, encircled by the town's motto, and that says, Regis ut arma rego, libera portis ego. So a little rhyming couplet in Latin, meaning, because I bear arms for the king, I am a free port. So what that refers to is that as one of the Confederation of the Cinque Ports, Faversham had a responsibility in the Middle Ages, before there was a Royal Navy, to contribute ship money to the king each year. So remember when we were doing our school history, or if you go to see a Shakespeare history, wherever kings were going off to France with armies and horses trying to conquer lands, well, it would have been the members of the Confederation of the Cinque Ports who had the responsibility for shelling out ships and ship money. In exchange, and this was where you really got your payback, in exchange you got rights of self-determination in your own town, but more importantly, free port advantages. So exemption from customs and excise that other towns would have had to pay, which obviously contributed to the town's prosperity. And then if you join me on this national legislation to alter that. Absolutely try to the markets still happen every single week. And I just invite you just to take some time to think about what a medieval marketplace would have looked like and sounded like and smelt like. So very, very different from our relatively, polite manners now. It would have stank, there would have been crowd, livestock would have been walked in alive, because that was the easiest way to transport it. We had just over where we looked at that pump, the hog market, so animals being slaughtered, and obviously all the noises, all the cries. We have what's called the middle row, so the address of the walkway, the other side, is called the middle row. And market towns, you will find, go up and down the country, market towns generally have a middle row. So if you imagine when a marketplace was just stalls and people had to come in with all of their produce on wagons, to get a spot on the middle row was actually very prestigious, and they would have porters because that gives you double the selling area. You can sell from the front of the store and the back of the store. If you're around the outside, you've only got one way to sell. And so what would happen at the time, because that was such a desirable spot, if you came back the next day to market, you wouldn't have packed up and gone home and run the risk of losing your spot. So you effectively camped overnight. And so over time, those encampments became more durable buildings and then actually became solid buildings over time. So whenever you're out on your travels throughout the UK, go to market town, look at the middle row and now you know the reason why. We're now going to look at the Guildhall, and special treat for being a part of our tour today, we're going to go inside. Now, the background to this story actually starts with the building over here, and which is where we start. council meetings over many, many years that have taken place, and the town council one is still due here. Faversham is very proud to have an unbroken record of the names of all of the mayors, going right back to 12, I think it might be 92 or 52, something like that. Obviously, I'm not going to hold you up long enough to say things about all of these, but there are some names on there that we will be mentioning and have mentioned as we've gone along. So, for example, we've got Samuel Shepherd, and lots of shepherds. Yeah, I will say more about those. I'm just going to have a look at Henry Rate when we go into the next chamber. Oh, that's right, yeah, Henry Rate. We've got Jacob. Okay, so Edward Jacob, 1775, so we're just saying his house, which is now this wife's lounge. Yes.
Was the town modest or?
That's a very good question. I understand that it was largely parliamentarian, which is a bit of, I think I'm right in saying. And there is one there, so Trout's, John Trout's.
1642, is that right?
Yes. He was an exception. Well, I might as well say it now while I think about it. So we're going to look at his house later when he was mayor. And because he did have royalist sympathies, he actually shared Charles II's exile on the continent with him. And there was a story, I think, that they said between them, when we go back, and you'll be king, and I am going to, and if I become the mayor of Faversham, I will invite you to Faversham, and I'll do the next part of the story when we get there.
How come there's so much turnover of names, but there's a lot of names repeating
I think
5-10 years later?
I think what it is, and I don't exactly understand how it works, but when you're on the council, you take your turn every so often. So if you were re-elected and you stay as councillor for a sufficient number of years, then you will take your turn again. So for example, in May, coming up in a couple of months, the current mayor steps down and the deputy becomes mayor. So if Councillor Martin stays as councillor for another 5, 10, however many years, the chances are that his term will come round again, which is why you have them sort of with gaps.
Yeah.
So they're only for very short times in office, and at this point it's only yearly, and so it would make sense that 5, 7 years pass and then your turn comes again. Yeah. Unless you do something difficult. Yes, lots of shepherds. So Thomas Southhouse, 1688, and he ended up writing a history of the monastery actually. So a lot of them, have lots of connections with other aspects of the town's history as well as being mayors.
I guess we say these farms have got the great and good.
Local great and good, yes, absolutely, because by definition you wouldn't have time to donate your time if you weren't reasonably prosperous, if you were working 16 hours a day. And Napleton, Thomas Napleton, another benefactor, we've got a Napleton Road, or Street, I think it's Road, and he gave money to the poor, so before the existing alms houses. We're just going to go into a little room, and the one thing that I'm going to invite you to do, and remind me when we get downstairs, so count the number of windows on this wall. Alright? Hold that thought. site. About 10 years ago, Southern Water were digging, putting water pipes through. I don't know whether anyone local remembers seeing it on the news. Digging in this point here, they came across what had been a medieval dungeon and an oubliette. I don't know whether anybody knows what an oubliette is, but as a way of punishing people, you would have just been thrown down there, a grill put over the top, and you'd be forgotten about, so literally forgotten. So, and the reason it was here was because this was the site of the second of Faversham's guild halls before it was moved over in 1603, the building that we've just been in. Obviously this is a much smaller one, but that does explain why there would have been a dungeon very close to this site. Now I've noticed that I'm running out of time. We've got half an hour left for our hour and a half. So at this point, I'm going to say, fair play, I got carried away with all my stories. Anybody who needs to stop at 12:30, we will stop at 12:30. But anybody who has got a bit of extra time, I'm perfectly happy to carry on a little bit longer than that. So I've given you half an hour's warning so that I don't throw the decision on you at that point and make you feel bad about leaving. You can think about it. Here we've got another lovely example of a refronted house. So you would think that it's very typical pediments and again the symmetry, flat front. If you walk around the back at some point and look at the back of the building, you see another Tudor or medieval building with wonky roofs and higgledy-piggledy chimneys. So another example. And just over this pair of houses here, before we do that, and the fact that owner-occupiers were no longer interested in the medieval houses. So these houses had, become rentals and lived in by people that didn't have the means to look after them maybe as well. So all in all, and we've got some photos of the houses here by 1960s in really, really bad state of repair. The Faversham Society, so some, a small number of historians and architects got together, and it's a wonderful example of how, if you're absolutely determined to fight planning regulations, this is what can be achieved. So we now see, as I said, more examples of timber-framed original medieval buildings, next to ones that have been Georgianised with the music and the just go down Arden's house there, and then I will make the break for anybody who's got train to catch, very welcome to leave at that point. All you need to do, as I'm sure you've worked out, is to retrace your steps back to where you started. Otherwise, I'll tell you more about Faversham Abbey.
We managed to get that.
How many?
Right, Dick.
Yeah.
We're going back down normal. It's 5 is going this time.
Right, you've been visiting Faversham at any time between the 11 up to 15. Your first and overwhelming impression has been Faversham Abbey. The Abbey was built by King Stephen in 1148. King Stephen was the grandson of the conqueror, and at the beginning they said that Faversham, actually the king was the lord of the manor. So he'd inherited it, and kept one of his supporters, and then he had this plan that he would build a large abbey here that would be the resting place for his dynasty. He had no way of knowing that his dynasty would stop with his son. Sorry. That's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Abbey Street itself was laid out specifically to be the entrance to lead from the town up to the Abbey, and what the spot where we arrived at now would have been the outer gatehouse. So the Abbey would have occupied all of the land, going backwards this way, right way down to the creek side. The timbered building that you see just down there on the right hand side, that was the inner gatehouse. So visitors or guests would have arrived here. If you were staying overnight, there was a guest house here, then you would have processed down to the inner gatehouse, and very few non-clergy, people who weren't in the church, would have actually gone inside. So they would have carried out an entire, they would have made their own bread, grown vegetables, brewed beer, etc., etc., etc. Come the dissolution of the monasteries, 1533, or rather, sorry,